SQL database software. What do you say, guys? Come on, everyone. Oracle, MySQL, PostgreSQL, and what, etc. So when it comes to NoSQL database software, MongoDB, Cassandra, Couchbase, Neo4j, and etc. Okay, if application dealing with formatted data and fixed amount of attribute, then prefer what? SQL. Employee having what? 30 details max. Any employee max 30 details. Okay, guys. If application is dealing with unstructured, dynamically changing data, it's better to work with what? NoSQL database software. What database software, guys? Yeah, it's always recommended to work with what? NoSQL. Product is there. Different product, different attributes. No fixed count, fixed attributes also. So because electronic product is different from clothing product. Clothing product different from okay communication product, right? In that situation, it's always good to work with what, guys? NoSQL database software. Is that clear, my dear, or not there? Understanding my statement, boss? Come on. If application is getting unstructured data, dynamically growing data, not having fixed schema data, then prefer NoSQL database software or not there? Say something, my dear. Come on. Okay. This is already we got the clarity. What are the example for NoSQL? MongoDB and all this stuff. Okay, now need of Spring Data module or Spring Boot data module. Yes. Before arrival of Spring Data module to Spring or Spring Boot framework. Spring or Spring Boot framework. That's good. Spring application, talking to what? RDBMS or SQL database software. Spring JDBC allows us to write JDBC style program. I'm talking purely from Spring and Spring Boot, guys. Okay. Spring or Spring Boot application. Spring JDBC is there or not there? Same Spring application to talk with the SQL database software in war mapping style. Spring war module is there or not there? Same Spring application wants to talk with MongoDB. No module, guys. No module. You should use native MongoDB API, native APIs, and Mongo drivers independently. You talk to what? MongoDB. To talk with Cassandra, Cassandra API and Cassandra driver. In fact, there is no abstraction from Spring at all. How we are talking from regular Java application to MongoDB from Spring application also, you need to talk in that fashion. That means the way we talk with the SQL database software is different. The way we talk with each NoSQL database software is different. It's like operating different devices in the house using different remotes are not there. If one remote is missing or damaged, we cannot operate that device. What do you say, guys? We cannot operate that device. Are you understanding my statement? The way of writing persistence logic in Spring before arrival of Spring data is like working with multiple remotes to operate multiple devices of our home. Yes, my dear. Okay. Before arrival of Spring data module, there is no. Spring is not having any module to interact with what? NoSQL database software before arrival of Spring data module. Before arrival of Spring Data module, there is no single unified mechanism to talk with what? SQL and NoSQL database software from Spring. That means we need to use different APIs to interact with what? Different types of SQL and NoSQL database software. So it's like operating different devices using different remotes. Before arrival of Spring Data module, there is no module in Spring Framework to interact with what? NoSQL database software. That means we need to use the NoSQL database software specific APIs and drivers directly for what? Communication. Directly for what? Communication. Spring Data provides single unified model to interact with the SQL and NoSQL database software by providing lots of submodules. Yeah, check it out. This is my Spring data, guys. It is providing abstraction on JDBC JPA to interact with SQL database software. It is providing abstraction on CouchDB, Cassandra, Solar, MongoDB, Neo4j, Redis, and etc. to interact with different NoSQL database software are not there. Working with the Spring Data module to interact with both SQL and NoSQL database software is unified model or not there. So that means what? It is like working with a universal remote or not there. If you know Spring Data module knowledge, using that knowledge, you can talk with the SQL and what? NoSQL database software in a similar fashion or not there. Total, how many submodules are there in Spring Data module? 30 plus submodules are there. Or total, how many are there? Total 30 plus submodules are there. Are you getting my point? Okay. See, for interacting with the SQL database software, maximum we use Spring Data JPA. For interacting with what? Each NoSQL database software, we use different submodules are not there. Spring Data module provides abstraction on multiple technologies and framework to simplify interaction with what? Both SQL and NoSQL database software in the unified model environment. What environment? In the unified model environment. Are you understanding my statement, my dear? Okay. Simply what, guys? Unified model environment. I hope you got the clarity or not there, guys. Yeah. Important submodules of Spring Data module. Spring Data JPA provides abstraction on ORM framework like Hibernate, IBTs, and etc. Spring Data JDBC provides abstraction on JDBC technology different from Spring J. Spring Data MongoDB provides abstraction on MongoDB API. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Nearly 30 plus submodules are given in Spring Data module for interacting with both SQL and NoSQL database software. If you are learning Spring Data JPA, then there is no need of learning what? Spring JDBC module, Spring ORM module separately. Is there any need of learning these modules separately, guys? Super. Here, what is there? Main submodules. What modules, guys? Main submodule. These many are there. In that one, we are going to learn Spring Data JPA to interact with what? SQL database software. Spring Data MongoDB to interact with what? And already we completed Spring Data MongoDB also, my dear. Super, guys. Okay, now check it out. Yeah, Spring application, Spring Boot application having war mapping per that uses Spring Data JPA, that uses ORM framework like Hibernate, that uses JDBC, that uses JDBC driver, and that will talk to database software are not there. Super. Okay, this is old style, guys. This is Spring or Spring Boot application, uses Spring Data JDBC, Spring JDBC plus ORM framework, that again uses JDBC, that uses JDBC driver and actually talk to with the database software are not there. Super. Spring Data JPA interacts with what? SQL database software in OR mapping style. Okay. Internally using Hibernate framework. Spring Data JDBC interacts with what? SQL database software in OR mapping plus JDBC style by internally using what? Hibernate plus JDBC. by internally using what? Hibernate plus JDBC. Convinced with me, my dear? Come on, everyone. What is JPA? It's a software specification providing rules and guidelines to develop what? ORM software like Hibernate, IBTs, and what? Etc. Sun Microsystem or Oracle Corporation provides what? JPA. Okay, is a specification having rules and guideline. And there are multiple what? There are multiple vendor companies giving different what? ORM softwares are not there. Okay, JPA is a specification. ORM softwares are the software that are built based on what? JPA specification are not there. All these are what? ORM software. Copy this. This is another ORM software. This is another ORM software. This is another ORM software. What is the difference between ORM and JPA? ORM mapping is a style of persistence logic development. For that style of programming, JPA provides rules and guidelines to vendor companies to create what? ORM softwares. JPA is the theory, ORM framework is the practical. JPA is the building plan, and ORM softwares are what? Different buildings that are constructed based on what? JPA. For comparison purpose, okay. RBI provides rules and guidelines to operate the banks, na? RBI is like what? JPA. All banks in India are like what? ORM software. In India, all telecommunication business will happen according to TRAI guidelines, Telephone Regulatory Authority of India, right? TRAI is like JPA, Airtel, Geo, okay, many other, what VI. All these are the companies who run their business according to TRAI guidelines are not there. Similarly, okay, IRDA is there. All insurance activities in India will be controlled by whom? IRDA. Okay, IRDA, LIC, SBI Life, Tata, AIG. All these are the companies. All these are the companies. Are you getting my point there, guys? All these are the companies who do insurance business in India according to IRDA rules and guidelines are not there. Simply according to what? IRDA rules and guidelines, they do the business. What do you say, guys? They do the business according to IRDA rules and guidelines. Convinced with me, my dear? Come on, everyone. Plain JDBC code. This is the plain JDBC code or not there? Load JDBC driver class, establish the connection, create statement object. This comes under common logics or not? Send and execute SQL query to database software. Gather SQL query results and process them. This comes under application specific logics are not there. Handle the exception, perform transaction management, close JDBC objects. This comes under what, guys? Again, common logics development. Come on, everyone getting my point here, guys? Okay, that's good, great. Load driver class, establish the connection, create statement object, send and execute SQL query. Okay, while working with plain JDBC, you are forced to write what? Both common logics and application specific logic. That means there is a possibility of getting boilerplate code problem or not there. Okay. What's the problem with plain JDBC? We are writing SQL queries. SQL queries based persistence logic is what? Database software. Dependent independent persistence logic. Dependent independent persistence logic. plain Hibernate code. What is their ORM framework? Yeah. Now tell me, plain Hibernate code. I'm talking about Hibernate based persistence logic, guys. Yeah. Create configuration object, session factory object, session object. Because of these three objects, the Hibernate framework will be activated or not there. Will be activated or will not be activated. Session object is equal to JDBC connection object plus plus. Session object is equal to JDBC connection object plus plus. Right. Write persistence logic using what? Session object and entity class objects. Array, the session object is like connection object, boss. Come on. Using that and whatever entity object, we can develop objects based persistence logic or not there. Super, guys. Perform transaction management. Do everything or nothing principle, guys. Close session, session factory object. So here also boilerplate code is there or not there. This is common. This is common. Time to time, only this will change. Time to time, only this will change, right? Configuration object activates what? Hibernate framework. Session factory object is a factory for session object. Using that factory, only session objects will be created. Session object is nothing but connection object plus plus. It will do many things on the top of. All persistence operation by using entity objects will be done by using session object only now, guys. Okay, see guys, it is allowing us to develop objects-based persistence logic. But here also we are writing boilerplate code all not there. In plain JDBC, are we having boilerplate code problem? Yes. In plain Hibernate also, are we having boilerplate code problem? Yes. Developer should write both common logics and what? Application specific logic. That means it is having boilerplate code problem or not there. The code that repeats across the multiple parts of the project, either with no changes or with what? Minor changes, is called boilerplate code. Note 1. Plain JDBC code is SQL queries based persistence logic. What is there? Database software dependent. Okay. Plain Hibernate code is what? Objects based persistence logic. What is that? Database software independent one. What is that, guys? Database software independent persistence logic. That is dependent persistence logic or independent persistence logic. That is definitely database software independent persistence logic. Are you getting my point there or not there? Okay, that's good. Plain JDBC boilerplate problem. Plain Hibernate boilerplate code problem. Now I am coming to Spring ORM code. It provides abstraction on Hibernate and this avoids the boilerplate code problem and also allows us to develop objects-based persistence logic. Create Hibernate template object. This Hibernate template will provide what? Common activities. Will take care of what? Common act. And develop persistence logic using entity objects. See guys, you are not taking care of common logics. Who is taking care of common logics? Hibernate template, so that you are able to develop only application specific logics are not there. That means we are able to develop objects based persistence logic. At the same time, no boilerplate code problem. Sounds very, very great or not? But after this only we got Spring Data JPA. That means some advantage, some limitation is there with Spring ORM or not there. Definitely some limitation is there with Spring ORM or not there. Some limitation is there with Spring ORM or not there, guys. Okay. That means what? Some limitation is there with what? Spring ORM or not there, guys. Okay, that's good. Yeah. What is that limitation? Listen. I have 500 tables in my project. Okay. For every table, we have to take separate DAO interface and DAO IMPL class. Okay. Let us assume on every table, I want to perform regular card operation. So in 500 DAO IMPL classes, How to develop 500 into 7 or 8 methods are not there. 500 into 7 or 8 methods are not there. Say something, my dear. 500 into 7 or 8 methods. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Come on, everyone. If project is having 500 DB tables and we are looking to perform code operation on what? DB table, then we should develop 500 DAO interfaces, 500 DAO IMPL classes, and 500 into 6 methods having common persistence logic activities plus additional methods in each DAO IMPL class specific to project requirement. It's a heaviness now, boss. See, table 1 employee, insert, update, delete, select by ID, whatever it is. 10 operation regular. Table 2 department. Maybe table is changing again. Insert, update, delete, select by ID. Table 3 what? Bonus table. Again, insert bonus, update bonus. It is not boilerplate code because every DAO we are writing one table specific logic. But if you look at overall, without variety, just changing table name. In 500 tables, we are doing regular card operations now, boss. Indirectly, it is also some sort of boilerplate code only now, boss. Come on, guys. And moreover, who has to sit and write this code? In every DAO class, programmer should sit and write the logic or not there. Except table name change or entity class name change. Come on. Remaining everything is same, na? That's the biggest challenge that is there with plain JDBC, plain Hibernate, and ORM. Maybe I have highlighted in ORM limitation, but same problem is with the JDBC, na boss. 500 tables means what? 500 DAY interfaces, 500 what? Implementation classes. Plain Hibernate also same problem. You take Spring JDBC also same problem. You take Spring ORM also, that's a problem, right? So that means all of them are having what? Same limitation or not there, guys? Okay. If project is having 500 DB tables and we are looking to perform card operation on what? All the 500 DB table, then we should develop 500 DAO interfaces and what? 500 DAO IMPL class. And in every class, 500 into 6 methods we have to develop or not there? 500 into 6 methods we have to develop or not there, guys? Okay, guys. This is another kind of boilerplate code problem. Understanding my statement, guys? This problem is there. This problem is also there while working with what? Plain Hibernate and plain JDBC. Plain Hibernate and what? Plain JDBC. Are you getting my point there, guys? Say something, guys. Yeah. Next, Spring Data JPA code. This is very interesting. 500 tables now, boss. 500 interfaces, nothing but DAO interfaces, extending from one or other repository interface. That is a predefined. Listen carefully. In every repository interface, few methods are there, regularly used few methods. They are inherited to our interface, and you don't believe your work is done. Why, sir? Spring Data JPA takes that interface, implements one in-memory proxy class dynamically at what time? A runtime. There, all the methods are implemented having persistence class. So that means all you need to declare one interface, extending from predefined interface. Your job on, okay, your job of developing persistence logic for table is done now, boss. So total how many tables are there? 500. How many interfaces you are going to give? 500. And you are completed persistence operation now, my dear. Sir, I am not happy with the ready-made methods that are there in repository interface. Then what about? You are going to declare custom methods only declaration inside that user defined interface. For that also persistence logic will be generated dynamically or not there. Is it not interesting, my dear? Okay, you feel this, guys. New tab. For example, employee is there. Public interface. I employee report. It's my name, any name I can give. Extends from regularly used repository is crude repository. Crude repository. Entity class name. What is the entity class name? Employee. Okay, then ID property type. Which property is you have taken? A primary key property. Suppose its a type is integer. So in this one, how many methods are there? 10 methods, let us assume. Actually, 12 are there, 12. These 12 methods are inherited or not there? To where this one? Yes? Okay. Who provides implementation for this interface? Spring Data JPA as what? Proxy class. Dynamically comes and goes. At what time? Runtime. In that one, 10 methods are implemented. In those 10 methods, using this entity class and this ID property type, persistence logics are developed. So that means all you need to do is what? Declaring interface are not there. Suppose you are not happy with those 12 methods. You want dil mange more methods, right? More logic. Okay, you follow some conventions, guys, and declare those methods. For example, I want to get employee based on the range. Okay, what is that? List employee. Come on. Find by naming convention you have to follow. Find by salary. Okay, salary, condition. Some conventions you have to follow, guys. Flow to start, flow to end range. Flow to start range and flow to end range. Flow to start range and what? Flow to end range. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Public list employee find by salary between flow to start and flow to end. Are you getting my point there or not there? Everyone understanding my statement, my dear? Got the clarity here or not there? Okay, that's good. Find by salary between flow to start and flow to end. I employee repository. Tell me, boss, 500 tables means how many repository interfaces? 500. Are you going to write any logics? No. If custom logics also, they're only what? Declaration. Life is going to be very easy or not? Earlier, only to develop persistence logic, company used to recruit 4 or 5 resources. Now, the person who write the business logic, he only can take care of what? Persistence logic. Why? Well, it's all about creating interfaces. To create interface, separate resources are required. Not required. Life is very much simplified or not there. Sir, can you give me the confidence that crude repository is having so many methods? Let me give that. Crude repository API docs. Crude repository API docs. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Come on, everyone. Yeah, everyone look at the methods list, guys. Look at the methods list, guys. These are the various methods that we are having or not there. Yeah, look at this. These many methods are there or not there? Everyone, are you getting my point there, guys? Convinced with me, my dear. Come on. Yeah, advantage with Spring Data JPA. What's the advantage with the Spring Data JPA, guys? Now for 500 DB table, see, just create repository interface extending from predefined repository interface. Declares now code methods 10 to 12. Hmm. If needed, declare some custom method by following coding convention. Advantage with the Spring Data JPA. Now 500 table, we just need to take 500 custom repository interface having optional custom method declaration. Implementation classes for custom repository interfaces will be generated dynamically, providing persistence logic for the common methods inherited from the predefined repository interfaces and also for the custom method declaration. All these operations are taken care by Spring Data JPA using what? In-memory proxy classes. What classes, guys? Simply using in-memory proxy classes. I hope you understanding my statement, my dear. Come on, check it out here. In plain JDBC application, boilerplate code problem. Plain Hibernate application, boilerplate code. Spring ORM application, one kind of boilerplate problem is avoided, but another kind of boilerplate problem is added or not there. For 500 tables, we need to develop what? 500 DAO interfaces and 500 DAO IMPL classes having commonly used logics plus special logics. Having commonly used logics plus special laws. Spring Boot data JPA application. All kinds of boiler code problems are solved. Tell me, for 500 tables, we take what? 500 repository interfaces extending from what? Predefined repository interfaces. All logics will be generated in the dynamically generated proxy classes. All logics will be generated in the dynamically generated proxy classes. Convinced or not, my dear? Come on, everyone. Okay. Yeah. Now concentrate. What is the difference between normal class and in-memory proxy class? Okay, focus, guys. This is very important because we just develop interface, but implementation class comes automatically. Normal class. .java is saved in hard disk. After compilation, .class file comes and saved in hard disk. Only loading time .class is loaded and executed or not there. Only loading time. Come on, guys. .class is saved and executed or not there. This is my .java, right? Hard disk drive. Then what? .class. Again what? Hard disk drive. JVM loads the .class file. JVM memory of RAM. Okay, execution of class file, JVM memory, and happily output goes to console or not there. Next, what is there? In-memory proxy class. Everything happens at JVM memory of the RAM or not there. Everything happens at JVM memory of the RAM or not there. Super, guys. Now check it out. We run the any application. Yeah, source code of in-memory proxy class generated at what level? RAM level. At what time? Runtime. Its compilation also happening at what time? Runtime. Loading of class execution also happens at what time? Runtime. So everything that comes at runtime will be ended, will be disappear at the end of the execution or not. That means in-memory proxy class source code, it's a compiled code, everything will disappear at the end of the application or not. Say something, my dear. Simple theory, guys. Class generation, compilation, execution happens at runtime. So far, what happened? Before compile development, before compilation, hard disk. Dot class file after compilation, hard disk. Only execution happens runtime. So that's why execution related objects will disappear at the end of the application, not the source code and compiled code, right? But here, class source code generation, execution, come on. Everything happens at what time? Everything happens at what time? Everything happens runtime. Object creation, execution also happens at what time? Runtime. Are you getting my point there or not there? Understanding my statement or not there, guys? Compilation code plus dot class code will be done at runtime in the in-memory proxy class. What class, guys? In-memory proxy class. Yeah. Here, the proxy class related source code, compiled code will be vanished at the end of what? Applications execution. Simply at the end of what? Applications execution. Is it not interesting, my dear? That's great. Spring Data JPA uses proxy design pattern to generate implementation class of programmer supplied what? DAO repository interfaces as what? In-memory classes dynamically at what time? Runtime. That means while working with the Spring Data JPA, the persistence layer just contains DAO repository interfaces having few custom method declaration because the implementation classes will be generated dynamically at what time, guys? Runtime. See, guys. IOC container in which data JPA is activated notices, is there any repository interface or not? Yes, there. It's implementation class generation, runtime, compilation, runtime, okay, execution and output generation, runtime. Everything happens at runtime or not? Everything happens at runtime or not there, guys? The classes whose source code generation and compilation later execution takes place in the JVM memory where that Java application code runs is called as what? In-memory proxy class. Why proxy class, guys? Is it permanent class or temporary? Anything temporary is called as what? Proxy class. Anything temporary is called as what? So final conclusion is what, guys? Final con. In Spring Data JPA, 500 tables are there. How many interfaces you are going to? By extending from one or other predefined repository interface, right? Okay, that's good. How many in-memory proxy classes will be generated? 500. In each class, each repository interface related persistence logics will be there. Indirectly, each entity class and table related persistence logics will be there. Okay, now tell me, class generation, compilation, class loading, object creation, making it as Spring Bean. Everything happens at runtime or not there? Everything takes place at runtime or not there? Definitely everything takes place at what? Runtime. Public interface iEmployee repo extends what? Crude repository, employee comma integer. This is how we have to develop. Total how many method? 12 methods. Okay, what is this? Entity class name. This is what? ID property, nothing but primary key column type, guys. What is there? Primary key column type. PK column means primary key column. FK column means what? Foreign key. Predefined repository interfaces. CRUD repository, JPA repository, paging and sorting repository, Mongo repository. All these are predefined repositories are not there. But all these are what? Interfaces extending from common repository called repository interface. What interface, guys? Okay, guys. If we develop persistence logic using JDBC, Spring JDBC, Spring ORM, then programmer needs to write persistence logic manually by developing what? Implementation classes for DAO repository interfaces manually. If we develop persistence logic using Spring Boot data module, then required persistence logic will be generated by IOC container or Spring data module itself as dynamically generated in-memory proxy classes. As dynamically generated what? In-memory proxy classes. Are you getting my point there, guys? Yes. As dynamically generated in-memory proxy classes. Everyone convinced with me, guys? Yeah, these are the predefined repository interfaces hierarchy in Spring Boot 2.x. Repository is the topmost interface, guys. In that one, CRUD is there. Okay, in that one, as supporting what? Paging and sorting is there. Somewhere you will see Mongo repository also, guys. Come on. JPA repository, Mongo repository. Like this, a big hierarchy is there or not there? And some of them are got reactive code repository, revision code repository, RX Java code repository. These are various NoSQL database software related what RAM repository. But listen, guys, repository, code repository, paging and sorting. These are called common repositories because all database software repositories are there. Sub interfaces of what? Paging and sorting repository. So that's why JPA comes under say specific to SQL. Mongo comes under specific to MongoDB. In Spring Boot 3.x, hierarchy is a little changed. In Spring Boot 3.x, what guys? The hierarchy is a little changed. Same repository interface. Okay. It's an empty interface, guys. Under this, CRUD repository is there. Paging and sorting repository is there. List CRUD is there. List paging and sorting is there. Here is my what? JPA repository. Here is my what? Mongo repository. We have many repositories interfaces are not. Okay, guys. These are the common. This section is up to this is what common. They are common for both SQL and NoSQL. JPA is specific to what? SQL. Mongo repository is specific to what? Yeah. And I have given possibilities of various persistence operations in Java, guys. Possibilities of various persistence operations in what? Java. Are you comfortable, my dear? Come on. Yeah, tell me here. Where is this? Plain JDBC. SQL based? Yes. ORM Plastics? Not possible. Database software dependent or independent? Independent. Boilerplate problem? Yes. For 500 DB tables of the project, 500 DAO interfaces, 500 what? Implementation classes are required. Persistence logic development scope. Programmer only should take care of everything or not there. It's a good practice or bad practice? Plain hibernate, right? SQL based? No. ORM based? Yes. Database software independent or dependent? Boilerplate code? Yes. Okay. For 500 table, we only should develop 500 DAO interface and implementation classes now, my dear. Okay. Scope of persistence logic development is what? Program. Next. Spring JDBC provides abstraction on plain JDBC or not? Yeah, what is this? SQL based logic. Yes. ORM? No. Plain Spring JDBC provides abstraction on what? Plain JDBC. And simplifies persistence logic development or not there? Okay. Simplifies persistence logic development or not there, guys? Okay, guys. ORM logics, what is there? Yes. Database software dependent persistence logic. Yes. Boilerplate code. Boilerplate code. No. Why? Why there is no boilerplate code? JDBC template will take care of what, guys? Common logics development or not? Okay. Who has to develop this persistence logic? Programmer. How? By for 500 table, by developing 500 interface and implementation classes or not? Next one, Spring ORM provides abstraction on Hibernate. SQL based logic? No. ORM logic? Yes. Database software dependent, independent? Boilerplate code problem? Okay, now tell me, for 500 DB tables of process, come on, 500 DAO interfaces, 500 DAO IMPL classes are not there. Who has to develop this logic? Who has to develop this logic? Program. Next one. Provides abstraction on Spring Data JPA. What is there? Yeah, SQL based logic? No. Next. ORM based logics? Next. Database software dependent, independent? Dependent, independent? Okay, next one. Boilerplate code problem. Okay, next one. 500 DAO or repository interfaces. Here implementation classes will be generated dynamically or not there. Okay, next one. Who generated that persistence logic? Pro, this is very important. Only interfaces are there. In implementation classes are coming dynamically or not there. Who is generating this persistence logic? IOC container is generating this persistence logic. Is it not interesting, my dear, or not there? Nothing but Spring Data JPA is generating 500 implementation classes as in-memory proxy classes are not there. As in-memory proxy classes are not there, guys. When Spring Boot has got JDBC ORM module to locate and interact with the database software, why should we entertain Spring Boot Data JPA, Spring Boot Data module, right? Spring Boot JDBC, Spring Boot ORM modules can locate and interact with what? Only SQL database software. That means they cannot be used to interact with the NoSQL database software, whereas Spring Boot data module can be used to locate and interact with what? Both SQL and NoSQL database software using simplified single unified model. Simplified single unified model. Are you getting my point there, guys? Simplified single unified model. So that means it can be used to interact with both what? SQL and NoSQL database software. That too, the knowledge you gain to interact with the SQL can also be used to interact with NoSQL database software or not there. So, yeah, I think everyone got the clarity about why we should go for Spring Data module. Reason number one. Before arrival of Spring Data module, from Spring to talk to SQL, different methodology. To talk to NoSQL, different. But Spring Data module says, yeah, habituate with me. You can talk with both SQL and NoSQL database software in the unified model or not. That's the one point number one to understand. Sir, Spring ORM is already there doing this work. Then why should I go for Spring Data JPA or Spring Data module? All you need to do is declaration of the interfaces. Already we have done in Mongo repository. Don't keep surprising faces. Already we did this work in what? Spring Data MongoDB, right? So, I mean, remaining logics are dynamically generated in the in-memory proxy class or not? That's great. Okay. So now what I do is we'll see some programming related this one, guys. Session number 3. Yeah, interfaces hierarchy and other stuff. We already discussed interface hierarchy and other stuff. Yeah, in 3.x hierarchy is given, guys. Shall we go for first application background preparation, guys? Actually, laid means controller also I should take, but I'm just ending with what? Client. Here, client means runner class, right? Generally better to go for runner class. Service class having business logic. DAO class I should take, but not required. Only repository is enough. And initially I'm dealing with what? Crude repository. What repository? Initially I'm dealing with what? Crude repository. Convinced with me or not there? Close all editors. Yes or no, na guys? File. Where is this? Spring Starter project. Spring Starter project. Boot IOC. Tell me. Boot data JPA. Pros 01. And I'm going to do everything by using what? Crude repository or not? I'm thinking to do everything with what? Crude repository or not there? Everyone getting my point there, guys? Super. Tell me here, where is the story? Jar, Java, all this stuff. Say next. Lamba KPI. Data JPA. Spring Data JPA. Next. Spring Data JPA. Followed by that. I want to talk to Oracle, guys. I would like to talk with what? Oracle. For that one, Oracle driver I should add now, boss. I must add Oracle driver. Fine. In future, I want to talk to MySQL. We'll see that one later. Lamba KPI for getter setter method, all this stuff. Okay. First, we have to think about connectivity part. What part, guys? Okay. For that one, driver details you have to give or not? Driver class name, URL, all this stuff. Okay. Now, not only that, data JPA properties also we have to give. What are those? Data JPA internally uses Hibernate. Hibernate internally uses JDBC. So ultimately Hibernate generate SQL queries. I want to see those SQL queries. There is a property called show-SQL true. SQL queries will be shown. Next, I want to tell to Hibernate through data JPA. Based on the entity class information that I am giving to you, try to create a tables. I don't create tables manually. You only create the table. There is for that one, DDL auto property is there. What property? DDL auto property is there. Are you understanding my statement, guys? DDL auto property is there. Are you understanding my statement? Okay, that's good. HBM to DDL auto property. That's the one thing. Okay, now listen. In Hibernate, there is a component called a dialect, which is capable of generating SQL queries as per the version. It expects some input specifying the name of the database, version of the database. If we give that one properly, okay, the dialect will help We will get proper information to generate the SQL queries more effectively, guys. So these are the three minimum details that we have to pass as a data JPA configurations. What configurations? JDBC driver details for connectivity purpose. And these three details to make Hibernate, underlying Hibernate, doing something for us. Dialect to generate better SQL queries based on the name and version of the database software. Show-SQL to see those generated queries, and DDL auto something is there, data definition language auto, to create the table sequences, whatever required dynamically in ORM programming, Hibernate programming, data JPA programming. We are not going to create the table based on the entity classes and its information. The required tables, creation, altering, everything will be taken care in. Interesting or not there? So first focus on these properties, then we concentrate on remaining things. First one only, na? Okay, you are so alert, my dear. I'm happy. Application dot properties. Okay, Oracle data source, Oracle JDBC driver detail. Again, Hikari CP, Hikari CP connection pool, all this comes into picture. When you add data JPA starter or JDBC starter, you will get Hikari CP connection pool automatically or not. You will get Hikari CP connection pool automatically or not. Spring dot data source dot driver class name. Oracle dot JDBC dot drive. Spring dot data source dot URL. Tell me. JDBC colon Oracle colon localhost colon 1521 colon X. Spring dot data source dot username system. Spring dot data source dot password. What is there, man? Tiger? Data source dot password tiger. Driver class name Oracle dot JDBC dot driver dot Oracle driver. JDBC colon Oracle colon thin at the rate localhost this. Okay, that's great. Next one. Data JPA properties. What guys? Data JPA properties. Tell me next one. Spring dot JPA dot platform database platform. You have to give the dialect class name. This dialect class name will change based on the database software, its version we use. It's a fully qualified class name given by Hibernate. org dot hibernate dot dialect dot Oracle dialect. That's it. Okay. Let's see. Note 1. Dialect is Hibernate internally managed component that is capable of generating SQL queries based on underlying database software name and its version. All dialects are classes extending from what? Dialect class. The dialect value will change based on the database software, its version we use. It is optional property to specify because based on JDBC data source properties we configure, the dialect component will be picked up automatically to get all the dialects. This is the one we are having or not? To get all the dialect, this is the one we are having or not there? That's great. Spring dot JPA dot show SQL true shows the dialect component generated SQL queries as log messages on the console. That's great. Spring dot JPA dot Hibernate dot DDL auto update. Yeah, this one is there now. To use a dynamic schema generation feature of Hibernate. Schema means tables. You know, schema means what? Tables. Everyone aware of that now, boss? Mr. Focus. You're busy in phone here. Please focus. I know you're super busy, but focus. Yeah, what are the possible values, guys? Update, create. Best value is update, guys. These are the possible value. Create, validate, create, none. Drop and none. Create hyphen drop and none. Let us understand. Create always creates a new table for each execution by dropping existing table. That means what? One time run, one record insertion. Okay. Next time run, existing table record come, again new record insertion. It's very bad for production. Maybe useful in development and testing, fine. But it's very bad in production or not there. Once you shut down the application process, data gone. So not useful in production. Next, update. It's a best value, guys. Why? If table is already there, uses it. Already there, but find extra property in entity class. Try to add that column in the table, alters the table. If table is not there, creates a table. It's so flexible or not. Creates table if not there. Uses the table if everything is perfect. Alters the table if modifications are required. It's the best value and recommended value also. Then what is there? Validate. It simply checks according to entity class table is there or not there. According to entity class table is there or not there. Nothing more, nothing less. According to entity class table is there or not there. Are you getting my point there? If there, fine. If not there, error will come. It won't think about altering or what? Deleting. It just checks validation only. It will. Create hyphen drop. At the beginning of the application, creates the table. At the end of the application, drop the table. Then why it is given, sir? It is for demonstration purpose. For example, project is going on. Some client fellow has come. We want to give demo. Demo started, tables are created. Whatever data you have used, the data is shown during demo. At the end of the demo, tables are not required. Just drop. So easy now, boss. For demo purpose, these are very, very useful or not there. And what is last one? None. If no value is given, default value is none. Does nothing. No validation, nothing. You have to create tables on your own manual. None is given means it is expecting programmer is going to create the table. These are the various dialects that are there. These are the various dialects that are there. I know not so readable. I'll change it. I'll make it readable, guys. I will make it readable. Don't worry. I will definitely make it what? Readable. ChatGPT. Yeah, tell me, guys. What is this? Dialect. Dialect list in Hyper. It's correcting, guys. It's correcting. Yeah, all the dialects list is coming or not there. This is dialect list, my dear. Common dialects, hibernate dialects. Arkil dialect is the dialect that we have taken now, my dear. Archil dialect is the dialect we are taking over here or not? Fine. So with this, connectivity happen and instruction to Hibernate happen. Okay. Now, but we have written only dialect. All the dialect classes are supplied by Hibernate as the subclass of dialect class are not there. Okay. Archil dialect, this will change based on the database software we use. Spring dot JPA dot show hyphen SQL true. Show hyphen SQL true. Tell me. Spring dot JPA dot Spring dot JPA dot what is there? Spring dot JPA dot tell me. Okay, guys. DDL hyphen auto. What is the best value? Yes. Any confusion? This is for connectivity. This is to give instruction to underlying Hibernate. Okay. This is instructions to what? Underlying Hibernate. Are you understanding my statement, guys? This is related to what? Underlying Hibernate. Convinced with me, my dear? Come on, everyone. Okay, that's great. Fine. Boot data JPA pros 1 crude repository. Now, the next important thing to develop is entity class. But let's design packages first, guys. Packages. What are the packages? com.nt.entity. That's good. Next, new package. com.nt.repository. Are no DAO. Now I'm changing. Repository DAO one and the same, but I'm going by terminology of this module. Yeah. Next, new package com.nt.service. Next, new package. I'm not taking controller, guys. Runners. I'm taking runners. That's good. Yeah, first I'm going to develop the entity class. To make normal class as entity class, @entity is required. To map that entity class with the table, @table is required. To map each property with a column, @column is there. To tell that this is not a normal property, this is the property that is going to be linked with what? Primary key column, or this property linked column becomes primary key column, @ID. Entity is mandatory, ID is mandatory. Remaining all are optional. If table is not given, it will search for that table that matches with the class name. If column is not given, it will search or create a such column whose property name is matching. Come on. But entity and ID are the mandatory. Remaining all are what? Option. 15 queries are there. Only SR only, na? Okay. Only SR messages. Yes, SR message. Okay, that's good. Hey, I'm bored with employee, student, customer. Shall we take job seeker? That means you people. Yes, okay. Job seeker. Yeah. Here is what? Job seeker. Job seeker dot Java. Order of annotations need not to worry. Data. Nice. Table. Name is equal to JPA underscore JS underscore tab. My name, my choice. You don't like, take something else. Sir, generally I write table names in uppercase, column names in uppercase to differentiate from Java code. Table and column names are not case sensitive. Okay, that's good. Private integer JSID. If you take mixed case, guys, column will come. If you mention column name separately, if you don't mention column name, JS underscore ID comes. For example, this I capital. It column name becomes what? JS underscore ID. Where is this? At the rate column. What's there? At the rate column. Length is equal to, acha, listen. For numeric columns, we cannot control the length. If we give also, it's waste. Why? Java integer means some 11 digits is there. If you say in Oracle take only 2 digits, how does it works, guys? It anyhow takes 11 digits. In Oracle, if you say 2 length or 3 length, how does it fits, guys? If you give column length also, it won't, guys. But you can mention column name. Okay, JS underscore ID. Not compulsory, guys. See, if you don't give JS ID, since you have given something, it will go by that. But you want to see this one as this column as a normal column or PK column. So n at the rate ID. Then we have to take what? At the rate. Private string JS. Private string JS address. Private string QLFY. QLFY. At the rate column length is equal to 30. At the rate column, yes. For string columns, you can control the length, guys. Okay, name is equal to JS underscore name. Name is equal to address. JS underscore QLFY. Qualification is taken, but I want some private, some number column also, guys. Float. Yeah, expected salary. Name JS underscore expected underscore salary. JS underscore expected underscore salary. Everyone getting my point there or not then? Yeah. JS ID, JS name, address, qualification there. This is my job seeker.java or not? This is my simply job seeker.java, guys. Okay, that's great. JPA underscore JS underscore tab. Private float expected salary. Okay, data will generate getter setter methods now, boss. Yeah. If table not given, class name becomes table. If column not given or column name not given, property name becomes column name. Okay, we can control length of the string column. If you don't control, default is what? 255. Default is 255. Are you ready to have 255 size? Then better to control string column. Numeric and float you cannot control, guys. If you control also, it's a waste. Why? Because float is having its own size in Java, right? If you say 40, this 11 digits one can take 40 digits number. No, that's why it's waste controlling what this. So by default, this will come with 11 digits maximum. This also float means similar range, 11, 12 digits maximum you will get it. So it's because Java is having its own ranges. Accordingly, things will be decided. Okay, accordingly the things will be decided. This is my job seeker.java or not there? Convinced with me, my dear. Come on. So this is my entity class, guys, where we are having job seeker.java. We are ready with this, my dear. Okay, I want you people to spend 1 minute time on this entity class, guys, because this is the heart of the development. Tell me, war mapping is happening or not there? It's a process of mapping Java class with a table, class mapped with a table, properties with columns, and making objects of Java class representing record. When you do all these things, tomorrow when I create object, they definitely represent the records or not? They definitely represent the records are not there. They solidly definitely represent the records are not there. I want reply, my dear. Come on, everyone. Okay. Class members and with these annotations. Yes. Okay. It's clear, my dear. Come on, everyone. Everyone convinced with me, guys. Okay, that's good. com.nt.repository. com.nt.repository. That's good. Yeah, repository in new. Where is there? Interface. I job seeker. Why all I's are? Generally, we try to add I word before the interface. I job seeker repository. Okay, extend from crude repository. Sir, how does it knows this is not a normal interface, repository interface? All these repository interface indirectly or directly extends from repository interface, that is an empty interface, marker interface. By seeing that interface in the hierarchy, this interface is identified as what? Special interface or not? This interface is definitely identified as what? Special interface or not there? Say something, my dear. I want reply, guys. Yeah, T. What is there? Job seeker. What is this? Integer. One is a job seeker, another one is what? Integer. That's great. I job seeker repository. Total 12 methods will come. Now listen, why you are mentioning the generic type? Based on this, the method signatures are decided. While designing interface, you mentioned types mean generic type means they are going to reflect in what? Method signature. You are not believing, wait a minute. Crude repository, na? Yeah. For example, you take delete T entity. Now T is what? Job seeker. Because crude repository T comma ID. What is T now? Job seeker. So you have to pass job seeker object or not. For example, you take delete by ID. Delete by. What is the ID I mentioned? Integer. So it will expecting int or not there. Based on the generics that we mention in repository creation, the signatures of the methods will be decided. Interesting or not? In Spring Boot batch programming also, while implementing item reader class, implementing reader interface, there also T is there. The T is reflecting in the return type of the read method. Come on, guys. In item processor, I and O is there. I is becoming parameter type, O is becoming return type. I forgot about that. And we have JMS also, we got that situation in JMS. Where is that? In message creators interface is there. Message creator, there also we have taken method with generic type or not there. There also we have taken method with generic type or not there. In MongoDB also we have seen it, right? In the interface designing, if you mention generic type, that is going to reflect the signatures of the methods are not there. That means methods not having fixed parameter types or return types. Got it, my dear? Understood my statement, guys? Okay, fine. Okay, let's see. One object representing one record. For that, we are taking entity class, column and other stuff. Don't take table without PK column in var mapping. Anyhow, we prefer generating new tables in Spring Data JPA, where ID property column automatically becomes what? PK column. What column? PK. All this stuff is there or not there? Yeah, one more improvisation is there, guys. Okay, now listen. Job seeker ID na? Generally, according to our mini project development, we prefer assigning value to ID property or PK column manually, or we want to generate dynamical. You remember that? We don't take natural key columns as PK column. We will prefer taking what? We prefer taking what? Surrogate key columns as primary key column. Primary key column value should be generated automatically, either by application or what? Database software. In our mini projects, we have used sequence support. Yes or no? Na? And I keep on saying in Hibernate, we have generators to generate PK column values dynamically. Come on. So right now, I just configured ID, but I'm not giving Prozen to get its value dynamically. I'm not specifying Prozen to get its value what? Dynamically. So now I have to focus on that part or not there. Shall we focus on that part, guys? But that's a big discussion tomorrow when we meet. Remind me, otherwise I may forget and go to next discussion, right? I have to configure one generator that generates value to ID property dynamically so that it becomes dynamic value of PK column. PK means what? Primary key column. PK means what? Convinced, guys? Oh. Difference between PK and FK. Simple example. Muhammad Akif, please jump into nearby drainage. Please jump into nearby drainage. You are using the word please na. That indicates how poor you are in database concepts. Okay, guys. Are learning Spring Data JPA is nothing but indirectly learning Hyper. Usual. Learning Spring Data JPA is indirectly nothing but what? Hibernate. Since, see, I taunt, but I give answer, right? Yeah, tell me. Because Afkif, if I don't taunt like this, you will think that I asked a great question of primary key and what? Foreign key. But you are supposed to learn these fundamentals in JDBC classes or Oracle classes. Anyone attending these classes without Oracle knowledge? You are going to have tough time, boss. You are going to have tough time. Okay. Now listen. To bring uniqueness in each record of the table, PK column. To get a link between two tables, foreign key column. To identify each record in employee table, employee number, primary key column. To get uniqueness in each record of department table, DNO is the primary key column. But in DNO, in EMP table, general in child table, one foreign key column will be there to tell that, hey, this record of employee table, you belongs to so and so department. So that means Foreign key column of child table will always points to what? Primary key value of what? Parent table. So that each record of child table will point to what? A record of primary table. A record of parent table. A record of parent table. So to link two tables, foreign key. To identify each record of table, what is there? Primary key. Convinced, my dear? Yes, boss. Ah, third one, this one. Spring Boot data JPA. Right click, file upload, tools. Yeah, I know, Ra. It's my system, Ra Babu. Don't forget, my system it is. 718 boot data JPA. Session how much, guys? Session 2 and session 3. Where is session 3, guys? Yeah. Thank you, guys. Have a nice time. We'll meet tomorrow.